Hey, everybody, you hear the music. It is time for another Home of Economy podcast from the studios of Grand Forks Best Source. You know, I really got it made. Later today, I get to do a show about racing, dirt track racing. So I get to sit around and talk about things I absolutely love. Kind of the same thing when we talk about Home of Economy. We all know my favorite store in Grand Forks, and we're going to do this again. Welcome to the studio. Scott is in the studio, Scott Pearson. Oops.
Good
there
morning.
There we go.
Oops.
I wanted to get some applause in there for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, just tell the people to wave and clap.
And then I hit the wrong camera, too. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. You know, I thought I would see you maybe in skinny jeans and a scarf and smoking a cigarette after spending some time in Paris, but didn't really rub, or in France, didn't really rub off on you, though, did it?
No, they tried to get me to buy one of those hats and start wearing shirts with the sideways stripes on them and that. But
and skinny jeans?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
when I
tried.
When I was there, it didn't matter if you were a guy, if you were 6 or 96, you had skinny jeans on and you smoked a cigarette.
Yeah, I could maybe get one leg halfway in.
But France is pretty nice, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Glad you made it okay. Boy, I tell you what, I saw the new Brennan Mullen sprint car design with the Home of Economy stuff on it. Looking pretty sharp, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
He did pretty good, too, on Friday, by the way.
Oh, good.
All right. I was going to ask you about a bunch of things. There's so many things going on at Home of Economy, and summer is just a great time for it. We've got Father's Day coming up. We'll be talking about that. But let's start first because I drove by there yesterday, and I was going in to get bait, and Skip's Gourmet Grub is parked out there. Kind of pretty much a mainstay almost now at Home of Economy. But, boy, I tell you what, you want some good grub, that's the place to go. Skips has got it going on.
Yeah, I love Skips. I'm eating there way too much.
Yeah, yeah. And you got a favorite there?
You know, I had the Texas jalapeno sausage.
Oh, I haven't had that yet.
Last. That was, you know, whatever I ate last is my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that funny how that works?
But, yeah, that was great. Frito pie.
Oh, jeepers, that's another one. So Skips is there most Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then you got Steers. Are there a lot of Mondays, right?
Yeah.
And what kind of food does Steers serve?
You know, I don't even know because I missed them on Monday. I was out of town still.
I had them. I had their food one time.
I'm going to guess it's beef.
Yeah. That makes sense. I had their food one time, but it was also, I probably had food from about 8 different food trucks that day, so I kind of forgot. And another thing, too, I do want to mention this. It's not on our notes, but I know Scott's probably pretty busy over there in the shop. I know Paul called him up on last week, talked to Alan, got his mower in there, but, man, still kicking out the stuff, and you got the big shop going now, too, again.
Yeah, we've got Kyle's Customs in our auto shop, doing great work. God, I love having them there because they do all my work.
Yeah,
and he's working on boats and motorcycles and snowmobiles and cars, taking care of everything.
Yeah, I was told that there was this like big old Cadillac in there somewhere. You know anything about that?
Well, my brother has one.
I said, you know, the Pearsons, sometimes they have their vehicles laying around there.
He's got my limousine there. He just put fuel injection
what it was.
on it. And, we gotta do the final tuning.
Jeepers.
Huh? Steers is a Somali restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Steers is a Somalian restaurant. There we go. Thank you very much. Shea's Nursery going strong now. We've already been in there 2 or 3 times getting ready for, trying to get our stuff done. But Shea's is a mainstay at Home of Economy also.
Yep. I've, I get my plants for my garden from them, and it's always right price. You know, good quality plants. You know,
good stuff. And by the way, Shea's Monday through Thursday, they're open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. At Home of Economy. Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they're even open on Sundays, noon to 5. You have got all kinds of sales going on, not only for Father's Day, but just because that's what you guys do. Steel sale is going on now till just to the 18th. But, I mean, we're talking all your cordless trimmers, your brush cutters, your shaft trimmers, your pole pruners, your gas blower. Pretty much everything from steel, and that's not even talking. We're going to get to the Milwaukee stuff, too. But steel equipment, you can't beat it. Well, Milwaukee and steel, pretty darn close, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they're both great brands, and in Grand Forks right now we have steel battery electric products. You know, in the handhelds, not gas in Grand Forks. I don't want to mislead anyone, but so if you're, you know, but if you're a Milwaukee tool guy, you know, Milwaukee's a great choice, and of course the batteries are, you know, they swap from tool to tool.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, if you're a Milwaukee tool guy, that's the brand. If you want, you know, the ultimate though, I still think steel is my choice.
Yeah, I know you're kind of a steel guy. I've been kind of a DeWalt guy, but I do own a little bit of each. And the thing is I got to figure out which one I want to stick with because, like you said, the batteries are all interchangeable, and that's nice. In fact, I was also looking at your Everything for Dad flyer here. They got the DeWalt 20-volt max batteries for just $100. I'm going to have to go get one because I'm running short. But when we look at the Father's Day savings flyer here, boy, I tell you what, there's stuff that Milwaukee also makes that I didn't even know about, like these mounting floodlights and all their different lights and you know, you can buy the packs of the Sawzall demo blades and not to mention your regular things like the chainsaws and the lawnmowers and all the tools and everything. But Milwaukee's got it going on too. I mean, they got a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, and we're a full line Milwaukee store, so you know, pretty much everything they make is you know, represented.
Looking at the Everything for Dad deal, I was really looking at that Paraframe combo pack. That thing's got pretty much everything you need in it. I mean, if for a little survival kit almost. That's pretty cool. It looks like it's got the fire starter and things like that in there. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, these are all the little things like me as a dad would really appreciate. They're kind of like the things you don't really think about, and then you see them and you're like, man, that's pretty cool. I might need to get me one of those.
yeah. For me, that's kind of tackle box stuff.
Sure, yeah.
You know, out on Lake of the Woods, you know, you know, hit a rock or something, and you're you know, going to spend a night or two on an island. You know, you need fire, you need a knife. You know, there's a couple of survival things there, the basics.
Has that ever happened to you up at Lake of the Woods?
No.
Oh boy, it'd almost be like going to the Boundary Waters, and they call that fun.
Yeah, you know, I've done some. I've cannibalized some boat parts to fabricate other things so that I can get home.
Sure. You like the Kilchers up in Alaska? Just go look in the junkyard in the back and we'll get this thing going again.
Yeah.
And also looking at your handbills, Carhartt, you know, we can't say enough about Carhartt clothing. 25% off all Force now through June 23rd. You got Carhartt. I mean, is there a better work clothes? Is there a better brand?
I don't think so.
I don't either. I mean, that's some good stuff. You know, you did bring in some stuff this morning, Scott. You brought in some beef jerky, and I'm guessing you probably made that. Give me one guess. How about a Traeger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was right, huh? How about that? Tell me how you made that jerky, because it's awfully good, or won't you divulge your secrets?
No, it's actually because I spend so much time trying to teach people how to use the Traeger and do some of the cooking. I share all my secrets.
Yeah?
No, jerky, I use, you know, the leanest cuts of meat possible.
Yep.
So your top and bottom round or sirloin. This is bottom round. Buy what's on sale, you know.
Sure, sure.
Slice it thin. I use a slicing knife. I don't have a slicer at home. So,
Okay.
So it's about 1/8 of an inch thick.
Yep.
Kosher salt, about between 1 and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt per pound, depending on how salty you like it.
Yep.
1 is kind of a minimum for you know, the chemical work that it does.
Right,
in the
right,
meat.
for what it's supposed to be doing.
Two,
Yeah.
2 makes it salty. And black pepper, garlic granules, and paprika in about equal amounts. There too, it's a matter of taste. You know, you don't want to.
So you make your jerky by hand. I mean, it's from memory, because whenever I make my jerky, I usually just go down to Home of Economy and buy a bunch of mix and you know, and do it that way, because
I love selling mix, but you know, for me, this is a fairly simple flavor.
Yeah.
You tried it; it was good.
It was
right?
very good.
You know, a lot of smoke.
Yep.
So, and this one has soy sauce and sesame oil.
Oh,
on
okay.
it. It marinated for a couple days, and then on the Traeger. We've got a new Ironwood XL that we're demoing. So that's a great grill.
Yeah.
I think for a 5-hour cook, I used less than 2 pounds of pellets.
Oh, wow.
Set it at 165 because jerky making is a drying process,
Yep,
not a
yep.
cooking process, right? So you want to use your lowest temperature and just have airflow and smoke. And I there's just I'd much rather make jerky than buy it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, you mentioned too, Scott, that you spend a lot of time helping people learn how to run their Traeger correctly. There's so many things you can do with them. What's the most common mistake that you find? Do people call you up and say, I tried to do this because I tasted yours and it was so good, but I just don't quite have it figured out?
Well, people tend to be in a hurry.
Yeah.
And that's the number one cause of bad food.
Yeah.
Trying to rush it. You get more smoke flavor at the lower temperature.
Sure.
Partly because the fire is burning a little cooler, and so you get a more complex and rich smoke flavor. But also, of course, if you're cooking for 5 hours instead of 2, you have a lot more smoke exposure.
Right.
So there's a myth that meat doesn't take on smoke flavor beyond random temperature, usually 160 or so, people say. It isn't true. The smoke ring stops forming. Smoke ring has nothing at all to do with flavor.
Okay.
Or smoke flavor.
Sure.
It's just the nitrate, denaturing the protein. But the smoke flavor continues to accumulate as long as you're cooking. And with jerky, 4 to 5 hours in the smoke makes great jerky.
Yeah. You sound like you went to culinary school too.
No.
No.
I,
If I did, I'd be wearing a big chef hat.
I just had a quick question because I experienced this yesterday because I was doing a beer can chicken, but I noticed I wasn't getting heat, and it puts the pellets into to where it makes the flame.
Yeah.
And it wasn't putting the pellets into there, so I tried to mix it up in the bucket, but they still weren't coming. Have you ever encountered that?
Yeah, there's a number of reasons that can happen. Did you go into it? Did you figure it out?
Well, I just kind of banged it around a little bit.
Okay.
And well, honestly, I kicked it.
Well, okay, Fonzie, but
Yeah. Okay, Fonzie.
Pellets have internal friction. They don't always flow properly. And if you keep your hopper more than half full, that'll go a long way towards making sure that it feeds reliably.
That makes
Pellets
sense.
that get moist, they shed, they become rough on the surface, and then they don't feed as reliably. They don't slide against each other like shiny ones do. And this is not like a visual where you look at it and say, oh, that pellet is, they have to get really bad before you can see that there's a problem. But you're depending on, you ever run you ever run an auger to feed grain into a bin or something like that? You see the same thing happen.
Sure.
It doesn't fall in. You got to kick the hopper. And, same deal. But the pellets are generally pretty reliable that way. But if they get any moisture at all, you lose some feed reliability. And if your hopper gets below half full, it's less reliable. The smaller hoppers, like on the Tailgater model or something like that, they're flatter. They don't feed quite as reliably as the Pro model. I don't know what you have, Paul, but if you get a lot of moisture in there and the pellets, they'll start to disintegrate. They'll shed. They're made out of basically sawdust grains.
Yep.
And it's not like floor sweepings. They have to make sawdust, but then they're compressed, and the heat from the compression liquefies the lignin and glues them all together. There's no additives there to glue them. But so when they get a little bit of moisture, they swell and contract if they dry, and they're dropping sawdust bits, and that can interfere with the flow. But if they get really wet, you can get they'll pack into a dome. And I've seen this. You take all the pellets out and you see a dome at the bottom.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The auger is pulled, so it's hollow underneath. But you'll have the
It
sawdust.
almost made a bridge.
The sawdust, you can pack it into a snowball, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, it makes a bridge.
Yeah.
Usually, when you have a pellet void where the pellets aren't flowing, you can see it. They call it a funnel, and it's not a funnel but it's an empty funnel shape where the pellets aren't flowing. And by kicking it, you disrupt that stack of pellets, and it collapses, and starts feeding again. But in the meantime, your grill's probably gone out. Most of the grills will continue to feed pellets for 10 minutes or more after the fire goes out. They feed for 10 minutes after the temperature drops to 125 degrees. So you'll probably have a pile of pellets in the burn cup or overflowing the burn cup. So if you have a flame out, you should be taking everything out. Don't vacuum. You'll set your vacuum on fire. Just scoop the pellets out of the burn cup and start over. It's really a non-event unless you make it one. So there's a number of things that can cause that, but it's not completely uncommon, but it's not normal quite either.
Is there the pellets come in a bag? Do you keep them in a bag, or would you put them in like a 5-gallon bucket with a sealable lid, or is there any way, or maybe just use them a little bit more and use them quicker?
I keep my pellets indoors.
Okay.
In the heated part of the house.
Sure.
If you set that bag on concrete, it'll suck moisture up.
Oh, I bet.
Pellets are like a dehydrating sponge, so you don't want them where the temperature is like the garage, where the temperature goes up and down. You get condensation.
Oh, yeah.
Moisture goes into that bag a lot better than it comes out.
Sure, okay.
So if you're going to put them outside, which I don't recommend, then the bucket with the Gamma Seal lid or something like that is the best choice. But I keep mine inside in the heated, air-conditioned part of the house.
There you go.
Our
Climate
pellets,
controlled.
Yeah, and our pellets, the Home of Economy's pellets are in the climate-controlled warehouse situation or in the store. They never go outside. They never go out in the yard, which is actually too common with other distribution channels. And 90% of the problems that if somebody brings a grill in and they're having issues, 90% of the time the problem is damp pellets.
Yeah, I bet.
It's not because they were out in the rain. It's because the humidity, the dew, the temperature fluctuation is pumping water into that bag, and
that makes tons of sense.
Yeah, you think everything is right, everything looks right, but you can't get over 350 degrees. What's that? Well, there's a number of potential causes, but it's almost always damp pellets.
Sure, that makes sense. You're looking at, you got the big Traeger's Father's Day sale going on now through June 21st, but when you look at even this first one here, Give Dad the Gift of Flavor this Father's Day, you look at that on that Traeger at one time, and holy smokes, they've got like about a 9-course meal on there. But the thing is, now, we've talked about this before, I probably don't even know every food I have tasted cooked on a Traeger. 99.9% of it came from you guys at Home of Economy, but I mean, I've had gator, I've had pork, I've had beef, I've had pizza, I've had chocolate chip cookies, but the candied bacon.
Have you come to one of my big events?
I think I have. I don't know.
Because you're not mentioning peach cobbler. You're not mentioning pumpkin pie.
I didn't have pumpkin pie, but I do believe I had the peach cobbler.
Okay. Desserts are fantastic. That little kiss of smoke.
Yeah.
I love the peach cobbler. Of course, we've got these recipes on our website too. I love pumpkin pie on the Traeger. There's bread on the Traeger is great. You do bread at high temperature, so you don't get a lot of smoke. It's just a kiss.
Sure.
It's just a kiss. But that pizza, it's like the pizza crust picks up a little bit of smoke. You're 400 degrees or higher, but there's a special flavor to it.
Yeah. And the nice thing too about the Traegers is you've got the smaller ones like the Pro 22, perfect for a young couple or a bachelor or whatever, but you want to go big time and you start getting up into the ironwoods and the timberlines, but everybody, and my brother-in-law just got one here about 2 years ago, and he won't shut up about it. I mean, it's like the best thing that's ever happened to the guy.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's got the deck with the built-in hot tub, and he's got like an outdoor kitchen with his Traeger around all the other things, and he's got the pergola and a TV and all that. But the guy, I don't know what he stares at more, is Traeger or the television out there, but the guy is a fanatic, but he's having so much fun because he's doing all of this different, well, I'm going to try this tonight, and hey, why don't you come up tomorrow, come to town, I'm going to try this. But we just named a lot of the things you can make on there, and people would have no idea. They think, it's just a grill. How are you going to make peach cobbler on a grill?
Yeah. Well, go to the Home of Economy website, and the recipes are there. I write a column, and after they're published, they go on the website. So we've had a little hiatus. So I want to get back to that. But the great thing about the Traeger is it enables people to have a creative outlet. With food, and that's what I love about it. I love creating new recipes and things, and you said your brother-in-law?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's excited because of the great food, but also because it gives him a creative outlet.
Absolutely,
it's like if you can't paint a masterpiece, you can at least make a
right.
A great
Some guys
rib.
Some guys look forward to going fishing today. He looks forward to making something new on his Traeger.
Oh, well, see, I leave the Traeger running while I go fishing.
And that was going to be my next thing, what I really like, because I've got one of the old school electric smokers that you really have to babysit.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sit and almost stare at the thing the whole time you're using it. These Traegers, I mean, if you're cooking something or smoking something that's going to be on there for a while, you can jump in your boat and go fishing. As long as you don't break down and have to do the MacGyver thing like you were talking about. But you can watch everything pretty much from your phone now. Is that right?
Yeah, with the upper end models like the Ironwoods and the Timberlines, even the mid-level Pro units like the 780. That's all Wi-Fi enabled, and you can monitor your cook on the phone. You can change temperatures. You can see the temperature. You can shut the grill down if that's what you want to do.
Yep.
You get alarm if the temperature if there's a temperature problem.
Like my old school one, I have such a hard time keeping close to a constant temperature. It seems like it fluctuates so much. That's usually not an issue with a Traeger either.
Well, no, but okay. You probably, it depends on how much the fluctuation. People get a little OCD about this. Temperature fluctuations are actually a good thing within reason.
Okay.
Because you're producing a more complex smoke flavor.
Oh.
So if your temperature is plus or minus 25 or even 50,
okay,
you're set to 225 and it's going down to 150 and then 275. The average.
As long as it averages then.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. It used to drive me nuts.
Yeah. Well, okay, so your kitchen oven, if you, for example, go to GE's website and look at the specs for a kitchen oven, a gas or electric oven that works in your kitchen with no wind and no rain and all that, their spec is plus or minus 30.
Oh, okay.
But you set your oven to 300 or whatever, and it doesn't tell you that the temperature's going up and down.
Yeah, it just tells you it's at 350 or whatever. Yeah.
So you never see it, but the Traeger, of course, gives you a second by second readout of the actual temperature.
Right.
And there's also variation of temperature within the cook space. So it's giving you an estimated average of the temperature inside there. The key is to learn to use the tool and then don't stress.
Sure. And right now you just taught me a lot about my crappy smoker, but
you maybe shouldn't worry quite so much about it. But,
okay.
But that is the great thing with the Traeger. It's set and forget.
Yeah.
You can't forget it forever. But
you don't
close. Have to babysit.
Yeah, and that is a nice thing, because a lot of the times when you're doing this kind of cooking or smoking, it usually is for company, or it might be for an event, or it might be for an occasion. And so there's usually people around, and that's when you really got to bring your A game. At least I think I do, because the last thing I want to hear is, man, did you try John's ribs? Those things sucked. I don't want to hear that. Everything for Dad is going on through June 22nd, Father's Day. Wow, that's next weekend,
tomorrow.
Isn't it? Okay, yeah,
Everything
that starts tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow. Don't
June 9th. Okay.
Don't be disappointed if you're in there today.
Yep, wait a day. But we'd already talked about the DeWalt batteries. You got these mechanics creepers that are, I need one. But one thing, I don't have very good air conditioning in our bedroom, in the upstairs of our house.
That's
When
where
you look at those
that's where you need
Aerospeed
it.
fans, oh man, that is what I'm looking at. That and the Dickies men's shorts, I love them. I'm one of those guys. I gotta have pockets. You know, you can call them a cargo short or you want, but whatever you want. But the Dickies are a little more heavy duty, but they got all the pockets. That's one thing I like. And another thing that you guys have and that you always seem to continue to have is ammunition, which, you know, a couple of years ago was hard to find anywhere, but you guys always seem to be very stocked up on all of this stuff now.
We have tons, tons of ammunition.
Yeah, and not to mention fishing gear. Well,
Yeah.
pretty much everything for outdoors. You guys have you pretty much carry everything, don't you?
Yeah.
Dogs, cats, animals, horses, goats. I've even bought food to feed the deer out at my house at Home of Economy. But pretty much any critter on the face of the earth, you guys can almost feed it if it's a critter around here.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say every critter, but is there anything you can't find at Home of Economy?
You know, I almost never have to shop anywhere else.
I know. It's the same with me, too.
You know, it's yeah.
It's-
you know, if you need it, we pretty well have it. We're not a full grocery store,
Right.
But
You know, it's got to the point for me, if I can't get it at Home of Economy, the only other place I really like to check, and because of convenience only, is down the hallway here. And just because I'm here every day anyway, but it doesn't matter. It's like, well, I got to go to Home of Economy. What for? It could be completely unrelated, but I can get it all there, including my bait and all that stuff. So, I mean, again, you know, people might give me a hard time when I always say Home of Economy is my favorite store, but for sure is. Father's Day, what would be the dream Father's Day, grade A Father's Day for you?
day at the lake with my kids?
Will it happen?
No.
Yeah.
No, lake's too far. Kids are too far.
Oh, yeah. They're not around here anymore? Or?
Well, my son lives, you know, in the nearly local area. My
Okay.
daughter's still in Minneapolis.
Sure.
And
Kind of
Lake
hard
of
to
the
get
Woods
everybody.
Lake of the Woods is a little ways out of the way.
Yeah. Up where you're at, do you have any neighbors around where you're at, or are you pretty much secluded up there?
My neighbors aren't on top of me. You know, they're all great people, but I have some space.
Yeah. You have bear problems up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only problem I have with my Traeger is every year the bears get it and maul it a little bit. And I
Oh,
gotta
boy.
Put it back together and tip it right side up and scoop out the wet pellets and
Oh, jeepers.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's kind of a yearly thing then.
yeah.
I know they were having a lot of them up there last year. I didn't know about so far this year, but
Yeah, the bears get to it in the spring.
I did want to mention, I know it's not on my notes here, but the Amish Furniture Gallery, what can you say about that? That hasn't been said. I think the best furniture you're going to buy. My wife sure seems to like to spend money over in that part of the store, but what a great product they put out too.
Yeah, yeah. The you know, the Amish department, and then they also you know, the patio furniture. You know, we've got top end patio furniture.
Oh yeah, that is.
We've got the metal, and we've also got the you know, call it plastic, but polymer.
yeah.
whatever. But the you know, the best of the best.
And that's the kind of stuff you don't have to put it away in the winter. You know, I mean, that's also the stuff that polymer, you can scratch it, you can dent it, you can burn it, and it still stays the same color.
Yeah.
That's some pretty high tech stuff.
Yeah,
and
lifetime warranty against, you know, cracking, breaking,
Sure.
fading. you know.
Anything we missed out on today?
Wow, I don't think so.
There's always a ton of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Always something fun going on at Home of Economy,
That's
too.
right.
By the way, be looking tomorrow night. NOSA sprint cars are back, and I tell you what, Brendan Mullen's tearing it up, and that big Home of Economy on the wing looks pretty cool. I'm glad he got that. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to going and doing some shopping. Well, I'm looking forward to sending my kid to Home of Economy to do some shopping for me for
Yeah,
Father's
teach him
Day.
where to shop.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again for coming in. Are you heading to the lake this weekend?
I hope to head out tonight.
Good for you.
But, you know, the internet, you can work anywhere in the world.
Sure,
So,
sure. That's nice. You're just a world traveler, aren't
yeah,
you?
but it's way better to be working
Yeah.
at the lake.
Well, yeah. I'd love to go up there with you one time. I want to check that out. There you go. All kinds of things going on. Father's Day savings, everything for Dad. They got the big Traeger sale going on. You're going to want to check this out. I know you have been one of those people on the fence about a Traeger forever. You probably hear us talk about it all the time. Go get one. I think you will enjoy it. There you go. All right, Scott, thank you very much. Scott Pearson for coming in today.
Thanks, John.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you. You
and,
too.
I'm glad you're
And
back. Made it back safe.
Happy Father's Day to Loyola, too.
Thanks, Loyola. All right, we'll see you guys.